For those who don't know me, I'm Dan Shimshak, the Senior Director at Engaging Networks, and I, along with Graham, have Hani and Marta on our product team, and we drive the product building at Engaging Networks. So today, what I'm going to cover is the roadmap for 24, 25. You'll see that there's a big vision coming from our CEO, Graham Covington, which I wanted to chat on today. We have some big plans, and Graham has some very big plans around AI for this year in the platform. And I just wanted to quote him in saying that Engaging Networks has been a leading innovator in nonprofit technology for many years. The investment of client income back into the platform innovation is a commercial and cultural DNA component of Engaging Networks. Several years ago, as AI started to take hold in most sectors of the economy, I recognized that a foundational shift in technology was underway. The central question was, how could we leverage the positive power of AI to improve marketing outcomes for nonprofits? The tech market has always demanded innovation and adaptability, and AI has represented a significant change in the potential to disrupt, well, pretty much everything. And we're going to hear it from the panel earlier today that this sort of resounded true. Engaging Networks is standing out again as we deliver an incredible framework that integrates AI into all functional areas of the platform. Some tech is satisfied to play around the edges of AI and introduce enhancements to a single feature. What the sector really needs is a platform that will drive the potential of AI in all areas of supporter engagement and communication. That is what we're delivering after 5 years of amazing research and development by the team of Accessible Intelligence. AI will make its first appearance in the EN platform this year through a tool called Segments, which combines and exceeds our query builder and profile technology. AI-defined segments will drive enhanced reporting, deliver effective marketing automation, personalized bulk email, and improve page structure and performance. In turn, each of these modules will be updated with their own integrated AI features in 2024 and 5. This shift represents one of the biggest transformations in our company's history, enhancing our product and redefining our market position. We are head and shoulders above our competitors, and I can't wait to show you why. So in a nutshell, Graham created Accessible Intelligence to really look at predictive modeling, not necessarily focus on the generative AI side of things, but like using deep learning, how can they model behaviors around nonprofit and supporter activity? And one of the things that really stood true to me when they were explaining it was around recurring donations. So they were able to look at a model to predict whether a monthly donor will stop monthly gift within the next 5 weeks. That was their model that they tried to arrange. And then when the model was run against historic data from the clients and Accessible Intelligence, the accuracy of the prediction went from a low 93% to a high of 96%. This predictive capability will allow clients to automate communication to at-risk donors. And this is Graham's real push for this year, is how can we drive actionable insights using AI to promote communications and items that will change the behavior and help you target supporters. And the backbone of this is segments. So right now, you know that you can build a query in Engaging Networks using the query builder and also profiles. That has served us really well for a number of years, but we got to a point last year where it was, Graham saw the need is that we needed to do more in allowing for targeting supporters, but then how do we bolster that throughout the platform and bring in AI? So instead of trying to piecemeal it into profiles, or like let's reinvent the way that you build profiles and build segments out, and then adapt that within the software. So this is the first thing that we're currently developing and working towards in a release shortly, is segments. So being able to build new segments that will support your own predefined segments, things like monthly recurring givers or most recent recurring givers, etc., that allow you to easily capture those supporters, so reducing the need for you to be able to build them like you do in profiles, trying to really group some really common based predefined segments that you can just use, but also offer the entire flexibility that you need as nonprofit enterprise clients to be able to really target who you need to target. So as with everything we do, we always want to spin a really visionary and playful way of building. So with the new segments tool, you can see it's very visual combined with a traditional builder. So in this example, we've dragged over donation activity. There's some donation pages and there's an exclusion to represent what this query is all doing. And what we've tried to do is on the left, we've got categories that of what you need to drag over, but then try to pull out the most common things that you do, opt-ins. You generally building opt-in. When you're targeting people, you generally have that pivot point of an opt-in question. So we try to bring it to the fold, as well as location data. So things that are simple on the top right, and you can express what you really need to do on the left, as well as save them for particular areas. So some queries, you only want to use them for bulk email. So right now, our current query tool lists them everywhere. So you have long lists. So how we can try to help you refactor and reduce the lists that occur over time. We're also doing a lot of work, and Marta in the UK is spearheading this, is how we can take what is great in profiles, what's great in the user query builder, but then make it a lot more simple and readable in the new segment tool. And then backing the visual builder, a traditional builder style, which you then be able to toggle between and see how you work. So there's obviously people have different preferencing styles. So we built both to be able to field that. So it's easy and clear how to construct queries. So, and you saw that there was an AI-defined feature, and that's where, as a client of accessible intelligence, you would have the ability to then leverage those accessible features. A big push for this year is that we are building technology that will serve all our clients, but then we're adding on and bolstering the ability to include AI. So when we release segments, if you weren't a client of accessible intelligence, you wouldn't have some of the AI features. There's obviously some privacy considerations, et cetera. How's that dealing with their data? And those are all questions that can be answered. But it just goes to show where we're trying to provide frameworking that will support us us as a business going forward, and help you as nonprofits being able to leverage AI, but then have really great looking tools to move forward. And actionable insights has been something that Graham's really been hammering home. And an example of this is like supporter journeys. So this is a sort of a graph of how supporter journeys work in accessible intelligence. So you have these cross fields of monthly donors going to donors, activists to non-donors, those who are lapsing. Those are key junction points that supporters cross over. So how can we offer these as simple tools to be able to say, okay, well, if that's going to lapse there, how can we add in the marketing automation to really capture those events? And there's a real push to be able to have these actionable places that we can easily help you drop email content in order to push that conversations forward. Another big piece of this is reporting and analytics. And in terms of development, the plan is that we are with segments. The next is then reporting analytics. And Hani is a product manager based in Washington, D.C., is over here. And he is around today and tomorrow. And if you have any reporting comments or requirements, he's the person to speak to. Don't know if Hani's in the room. Yep, at the back. And just say hello. So he's leading the charge in fielding all the reporting and analytics design. So here is an example of where we're going with this. So there's also a big push on how we can have reports that can push for actionable actions or insights. And you can see at the top where we have sort of campaigns, we have monthly upsells, we have average donations. So based on what we're seeing on, say, like a campaign or a page, maybe being able to help promote, suggest actions. And this is something where like AI can help with in being able to analyze or add some comments or generative AI in the future of being able to solve for those. And the plan is to then have these as take action right there and then, constructing an email there, so you don't necessarily jumping on between particular places. Here's an example of, so there's a board right there, I didn't see that. Here's an example of just being able to build out custom reports. So part of the visual reporting framework is also, we also want to back it up with a custom report style builder. So comments of downloading a transactional export, you have all of these columns, the data aligns. We understand there can be a learning curve. So how can we also promote an easier Excel export? So those coming on board and for yourselves are going to be able to easily have reports built in dashboard that come out in CSV form. But they also use segments. So for example, if you did want to build a CSV report around fundraising, segment will then allow you to then query and grab that data. And then the next step is in custom report building is then you being able to tailor exactly what you need. So I want fundraising pages and the filters, and then I can then include what are the data types and labels and say derived data for that export. So I want these supporters and fundraising. I want the lens to be fundraising. I then now want total transactions, total amount, etc. These are the columns that I want. These are the format, and then click export. And then that means that you're in an ideally, when this delivers, is that you're not having to deal with the transactional export anymore. You're getting clean CSV that's a lot more readable and helpful within your team. Marketing automation. So we're going to overhaul the marketing automation tool. There was a big consensus earlier in the year is that we have our current marketing automation tools and we have our marketing tool builder. So there is a client asking, like, well, what are you going to do with the marketing tools builder? It's currently in, you're still using an HTML version in the marketing automation tools. And the plan now is to then uplift and overhaul our marketing automation tools to be more real time. So right now our marketing automation tools sort of runs daily, and then you can kind of cascade and do queries on that. But with the work that we're wanting to push with AI and also say like donation abandonment, we need a more real time or triggered based marketing automation tool. So this is sort of a preliminary overview of what it would look like in sort of draggable form. And then it's sort of like a report of being able to see how clients have flown through. And we'll start doing some focus groups on that and being able to meet with clients around some of the use cases for marketing automations. We have a lot of information knowing what we have on the current tool, but it's always good to see where the current market is around this. And then finally is, well, not finally, in this particular set is quick pages. So we've also seen the need for sort of rapid response pages, as it were, as well as an embeddable widget. And we've been doing a lot of work in peer-to-peer that supports sort of a new page builder. So we're also leveraging some of that work for this new quick pages, where you'd be able to quickly create a donation page. It's very simple form of like templating, styling, and branding. You'd be able to select particular templates for the direction that you want. But then what also comes out of it is a embeddable modal window that you could then put into your website. And this is also going to help us power some of our AI particular content generation later on next year. So there's a lot of positioning of the platform going on at the moment, and as Graham said in the beginning, it's a pivotal year of engaging networks because there's a lot of reshifting the platform to be able to bolster us for the future, and AI is one of those things that have kind of shifted the technology scene, and we really want to be a part of that. Another thing that we've been building is peer-to-peer, and it's been another really big undertaking. You may have heard that we've been doing this. Probably 2 years ago, we took the decision to overhaul our current peer-to-peer tool that was built by Zuru Group. And the reason being is that we wanted to get into the market. We felt that with our developers and our design, bringing it in fold could really help clients boost impact on peer-to-peer. So there's been a lot of work that's gone into it. And then there's some really great features. We did a recent webinar on around the integration side. So we're starting to surface from our beta program and a few clients we've been chatting to here. We'll do some webinars in the next couple of months about the tools themselves. But if you are interested in hearing them, I'm very happy to do demos because we're on beta phase. We're working with clients. We're looking to an early adoption program coming out. There's some really awesome features around it. And it uses our page builder functionality. So you have all the payment type offerings that you can. And there's a really cool automation series that comes from it where you can specify countdown timers. So based on registration date, X days after registration or days before event start date, you can then set time-based series within a conditional content. So based on where the fundraiser is, you can dynamically change the content to say like you've raised 50% of your goal, etc. And it's also scoped by participation type. So if you're running a marathon, you can have with ticket, without ticket. You can sculpt language based on those participation types. So there's some real exciting stuff coming down the pipeline with peer-to-peer. And we've really tried to make it as clean as possible, as simple as a tool as possible, accessible fundraisers dashboard. So it works in mobile and it's accessible off the bat. And there's some features like a inbuilt premium donation reward system within the fundraiser's dashboard as well. And for the marathon side, we offer also minimum commitment processing, etc. So that's for. I wanted to say thanks very much. It's been there's a lot to do this year. We're really excited about it. It's a very, as Graham mentioned in the beginning, it's a very pivotal time. There's a lot going to reshape the dashboards and the UI in order to really bolster the tool for the next few years. Hope that was helpful. We could take some questions.
Yeah, we have a few questions here, Dan. I do just want to first take a second because I work with Dan and I know how much he's sort of has to balance the demands of the industry and the future and our business needs and what our clients want. And in the midst of doing all that, he has still never hesitated to sit down and talk with me for a half an hour or something like that to work out some complicated issue. So just quick Dan appreciation moment, really. All right. So a few minutes for questions here. The first one is, will Query Builder and profiles be slowly phased out in favor of segments? And what will happen to my existing saved queries?
So a good question. I knew that was coming. So we can't just suddenly remove Query Builder and profiles knowing how long it's been in the system, the amount of queries people are using for it. So the plan is that segments is going to be a place where it's going to be in the marketing tools initially. So you'll be able to, when querying for emails, the segment builder will be there, and then you can then either select your existing queries or use the segment builder to then promote then use it to send emails. That's the first chunk of work that we'll be doing when we're delivering it, to combine it with marketing tools to be a functional piece. It's otherwise, if we just release segments, it's kind of a standalone feature, and we know adoption wouldn't get pushed for it. So we're really trying to see how that's probably the first place where we'll be, and then we'll get comments back and we can iterate and things like that. But that's the plan.
Great. Another interesting question. The people are really interested in the quick pages and the modal. Mm-hmm. Have we thought at all about the embeddable donation page using AI to predict ask amounts for donors?
So for sure, I'm sure we'll probably tackle that. There is a shift in the market that we're feeling, and it's a response to that. And it certainly we will want to respond to any of those market demands.
And so will the modal pages, are they going to be able to be branded, or will the layout be pretty much set in stone? Have we gotten to that point yet?
I think with the quick pages, we're going for less flexibility. So obviously we're going to, and our page builder is sort of like a flagship tool that allows you to do anything you want. And so the quick pages are more seen as the being able to then do some branding styling, probably some flexibility, more likely controlled maybe by passing in codes, things like that to see what you need. But what our first envisionment of the tool is that it's a simple way of you being able to do really quick actionable pages. And fundraising is where we're going to be first showing, and then likely how we could expand that to advocacy, etc., things like that. So and then the embeddable donation widget, we're really seeing like how we could have, you could drop embeddable code, and then you could maybe promote that one at that particular time to that main page. So one question I'm really interested to find out, and if you do this, let me know, is that like whether or not on landing on the donation page, you ever just want to swap it to an advocacy side or a fundraising page and things like that. Is it always a donation modal that you want to show? So potentially the way that we do quick pages is that you could eventually build a donation page or an advocacy page, but then you're promoting the advocacy page to your front page website modal versus the fundraisers page and things like that. And then the asset libraries and imagery are just changed based on what you're selecting at the quick page level. So there's some interesting stuff that we're considering on a technical level, and we'll definitely be keeping you abreast as we push forward.
Okay. With the peer-to-peer features that we've highlighted today, are we thinking all those at once or more phased over multiple releases?
Phased over multiple releases. I think where we are and what we've realized with the beta period is that peer-to-peer has a host of different features that people want, and they push peer-to-peer in different ways. So what we've been doing with the clients who have gone in beta is that we've been listening to where they want to push it, and we've been trying to adapt the feature sets to do that. There's certainly things we need to release. So, for example, activity tracking is one that we're earmarking for the next release. Family registrations is kind of like the big chunkier piece. However, if you're interested in doing a DIY site, or you have a particular marathon or event-based, or you're wanting to do some fundraising, there's features in the tool right now that are very adaptable to do that. And we have Man, who's working with a client now to build a site that's launching on tributes. So you can build a tribute site that when someone registers, their honorary name is the page. So if you do tributes and you're interested in that, we're happy to show you a demo. There's some really nice features around there. So I will say, look out for some comms around peer-to-peer and this release. But we're in a beta phase, and we have a lot of feature sets. So if you're interested, let me know. We can kind of, or your account success manager, we can kind of work with that.
But actually, this is an interesting one. It's about, well, I can't find it now, but it's about the overall approach to balancing, keeping things as simple, as intuitive, as user-friendly as possible, and at the same time, working towards the future, incorporating new features and things like that. And what kind of guides your thinking in that?
I mean, there's always being a product-based company, there's always a big tension of being able to stay applicable in the market that's changing, keeping clients happy, listening to clients, but then also trying to be visionary. And I think that's what I think Graham, our founder, has always pushed for that. Is like, how can you push for really good tools that you're always innovating, and he always puts money back into the product team. So our product team has been always the one that the money has gone back into to really try bolster that sort of ethos in the company. So we always just try to do good UI with practical solutions. But we also learn, we adapt, and we try and make it as best as we can.
And I think you've gestured at this a little bit, but are segments going to change the existing conditional content, record merge fields in email, or next suggested gift processes and features?
Yes, there's a big technical challenge that we're pushing towards. So right now in marketing tools, you do conditional content through profiling. We're looking at like how segments could operate that way. And the way that we're sort of thinking about it now is that if you do build an email in the segment query, then the conditional stuff would be the segment scenario. So it's kind of like you're choosing a path and using it, and that will help us in rollout. So it's not so like scattered. So you have like a clean path of usage.
Here's one that I doubt is a surprise. When are you expecting the AI segments to be available?
Yeah. I think I had a call with Graham today, and he's like, when is it going to be available? Let's push. So
this one was directly from Graham.
Yeah. So that he's working on his team. So he's got their accessible intelligence has got about like 20 models they're working through to be able to push through to engaging networks. So right now our EN developers are working through clusters and predefined segments, and probably in the next couple of months we'll be pushing and lining those through. So I would say within the next 3 months, there's going to be a version that we're working towards.
All right. Well, there are still some unanswered questions, but I want to encourage you, talk to your account success manager, talk to Dan, talk to Hanny. We're around, and these are all very reasonable questions, so happy to discuss anything that didn't get answered during this. And we also have a record of this that I can share with Dan afterwards. But I want to thank Dan. Thank you all for your questions. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you very much, everyone.